Howdy, friends. This is Tim from Project Reclamation. Welcome to our 100th official episode. Although we have a lot more than that if you pay attention to all our bonus episodes. But regardless, who'd ever thought we'd make it to episode 100? Well, here we are, episode 100. So I hope you enjoy it. I want to thank all our fans for sticking with us, even when, honestly, kind of shitty for the first part of this year. My apologies, but we are back on track. And thank you for those of you who stuck with us. For those of you who are new, welcome to Project Reclamation. Hope you enjoy. Anyways, I'd also like to thank our amazing podcast network, the Podbelly Podcast Network. Go pig out on podcasts. And I would like to introduce our very first sponsor. They are sponsoring all the Podbelly podcasts, and it is El Yucateco Hot Sauce. If you are a true fan, you know we talk about this all the time, or as Dave Moten would call it, El Yucateco. Look, I'd never get sponsored, or I'd never take a sponsorship from a company or a product that I didn't believe in. If you know me, or you know of me, or you listen to me babble on this podcast, you know I love hot sauce. And as far as an everyday hot sauce, I have like dozens and dozens of hot sauces, but everyday hot sauce, El Yucateco is the best. And I'm not making that up. It's just the truth. They have flavors for everybody. I personally used 3 different of their hot sauces on my dinner tonight. I used the Caribbean. In the marinade and the base I had some chicken and bacon skewers along with some peppers and some corn I threw on the grill. It was amazing. And then I put some of the chipotle for the smokiness and some of the XXX because it's the best on my chicken and my bacon and my vegetables and my corn. Anyways, so I used 3. They also have a jalapeno. They have a red habanero, green habanero. They have a black and a jalapeno. Did I already say that? Anyways, they have a ton of flavors. They have something for everyone. Even my little sister Shannon. Shout out to you, Shannon. She's not a big fan of heat, but we got her hooked on the chipotle. She loves it. So do yourself a favor. Go buy some El Yucateco. I have introduced dozens of people to El Yucateco, and every single one of them loves it and stocks it. So thank you, El Yucateco, for the sponsorship. And go buy yourself some El Yucateco. Dump it all over your food. It's not just for Mexican food. It's for anything. So El Yucateco, thank you, and thank you to the fans. Thank you, everybody. Here's the episode. Hope you enjoy.
Proud members of the Podbelly Podcast Network.
I know you're tired. I know you're hurting. And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational.
You can do it!
But that just wouldn't be our style.
Welcome to Project Reclamation, where you rebuild, re-energize, and reclaim your life.
Episode 100. Cien. I don't know the other names for 100. We've made it. We've done it.
Centennial?
Centennial. You thought for our dozens and dozens of listeners, you thought that we wouldn't make it to 100. Well, these sons of bitches just made it to 100.
We made it.
Bam, baby. I'm talking now.
Crazy.
I know. Always want to give it up to our wonderful sponsor, our lovely platform personnel people at podbelly.com.
Podbelly Podcast Network.
Oh, yeah.
Go pig out on podcasts.
Oink, oink. Ki-yi.
Oink, 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 oink.
Welcome back. Last time that we recorded an episode, I was on Zoom, and that didn't work really, really well. I didn't love it.
I mean, the audio could have been better, but
the audio could have been better.
I mean, I think
everything always could be better.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of podcasts that are doing Zoom and stuff. Yeah, I mean, and then the last episode where JB and I did it, we did that through Zoom, and he recorded it somehow. So I think that one sounded all right.
Yeah,
but
no, that one sounded good, but it sounded like it though, and
it was a little clicky though.
Some of the listeners have said, "Wow, Tim sounds great." It's a shame when he had to do that, Stephen burying him alive, because it sounded like I was just in a coffin underground.
Well,
big,
because
like,
I was recording directly into the thing.
It was a tin coffin, nonetheless.
And you were recording through your phone through Zoom into the thing. So
Too many throughs.
Lots of throughs.
It wasn't good.
Nah, but that's all right, man, because we're back.
And we're 6 feet apart.
We are 6 feet apart.
We have our masks on as required by the county. That's right.
You can't understand what I'm saying.
He sounds like one of the Muppet School principal that's calling them in all the time that no one can ever understand.
Right.
And man, how are you braving through? How's your family doing?
Family's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Talk to
parents
me.
are doing well.
Okay. Your parents are healthy as can be.
Yeah.
They're young. They're agile.
Yeah, I mean, my mom, with teaching, they pretty much made everything virtual. Although I was talking to one of the gals in my building who's a teacher, and she said that she said for sure in the fall, right now they're scheduled to go back to live learning.
Okay.
And she even said that maybe summer school. So I don't know.
Okay.
I'm getting such mixed reviews of like everything's getting worse. But no, things are getting better. Like I don't know.
Everyone wants the answer, but no one has the
one has
answer
the
right
answer.
now because like we're just kind of playing this all. We're kind of going as this goes,
So yeah, so my mom's been, doing a lot of that. So I think it's been good because they got that dog, they got the puppy.
Yeah.
He's not really a puppy anymore.
What type of dog is this again?
He's a pit bull schnauzer.
Okay. Is a Schnauzer a big dog? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a schnauzer, there's a giant schnauzer, there's a mini schnauzer. They're like hunting dogs.
Okay.
Have you do you remember the old cartoon Lady and the Tramp?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I probably remember watching
that, like,
it, but
that
it's been about
spaghetti
30
scene
years.
where the two dogs are
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
spaghetti?
yeah.
Yeah, he looks like the gray dog. The boy
Oh,
dog.
okay. Yeah.
That's kinda what he looks like.
What a breed to mix. What two breeds to mix? Or maybe those dogs just found each
He
other.
got like the best qualities of both, though. It's kind of cool. So
What are the best qualities of a Schnauzer? What are the best qualities of a pit bull?
I mean, he got like, I feel like he's because schnauzers can be sometimes like super super high energy. Like,
Okay.
But he got like the chillness of the pit bull, but he's sweet like a schnauzer.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
pit bulls are sweet too. Yeah, he just has the best like temperament ever.
Dude, that's awesome.
And yeah, he's a good looking dog. Everyone
That's
loves
awesome.
him. Yeah.
Hey man, speaking about dogs, there's one of my coworkers that has the most wonderful, coolest dog in the world. I don't know what type of dog it is. It's black.
right.
It's like a big one, but she always listens to our program. Tiffany.
Wow.
Tiffany
What's
J.
up? Shout out to Tiffany.
Yeah, TJ is what
And
I
your
call her
dog.
at work. She has one of the coolest dogs. Her original dog, Brody, who I love to death. He looked like this comic book character of a dog. You know what I
okay.
mean? I think, yeah. But now she has a new one, and he's really, really cute. I don't know what type. I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. I gotta be honest with you. But it was really, really cute when I first met it when it was a puppy. It may be, I think it's in dog years. It's like 16 now. It's probably got its license. It's probably vaping. Probably has a criminal court record on him now. God, they grow up so fast.
They do. They
grow up so fast.
So my mom, she's got to. We're just talking. We're looping it back around
Looping it
here.
back.
So yeah, it's been good because she gets to stay home.
That's awesome.
And do work from home. So I'm sure the dog is happy. And no, my dad's just been working.
Is it business like usual for your pops?
Yeah.
Damn,
He's
that's kind
actually
of cool.
busy. Yeah.
Can I just say, one of my buddies who I work with, his parents are involved in like a nursery or something like that,
Okay.
and they just kind of like have plants. And he says that, dude, their business has tripled, quadrupled
I
since
bet.
COVID, dude.
I
Because
bet.
they usually have, let's say they sell $100,000 in plants a year or something like that. I don't know if that's a real number. I'm just using solid numbers. He says, dude, ever since in the last 3 months, in the last 4 or 5 months, all they've done is just sell plants, and they're up to like $400,000 in business. They've already like quadrupled their annual earnings. And I thought that blew my mind because I was like, dude, a lot of people are back at home making their own gardens, right? I've always wanted to do tomato plants. I can see, actually, you're showing me this photo of you. You have a balcony at your complex. You were on the second floor or third floor or something
second
like that.
floor.
Short of the long is that you have this beautiful terrace that overlooks wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Rio Mission Vista Street or whatever it's called. And you have planted what looks to be 30 or 35 succulents from what I see.
No, they're all vegetables.
Oh, they're all vegetables?
Yeah.
Oh.
So
all
like that, the ones in the clay pots are green beans. Then I got a spaghetti squash.
You only want to grow one green bean at a time by the looks of it because it looks like that thing is too small.
So here's the thing.
I'm not a gardener.
No, you're supposed to. Okay, when I first started.
Are you developing it, then you're going to replant it in a bigger thing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So the little orange ones, all of these started off as seeds.
Oh, that's
so these
cool.
the little orange pots are just little starter pots, the little plastic pots. So but when I first did it, because I have no freaking clue what I'm doing, and I don't have a green thumb, so it's just trial and error.
Amazingly enough, if you put water and dirt on a seed, it just does the work
but
for
what
itself.
I did was I was like, well, I better throw a handful of seeds in here, but then you get like 20 plants in one little spot, and then they end up dying because they're all like
They're fighting
all
for it.
competing
They're
for
competing
everything.
for attention, yeah.
So those are. They're a little sad right now because I had to separate them because I had 3 or 4 growing in one pot.
Damn.
So I had to separate them so they get a little traumatized.
Well, either which way, dude, it looked really, really cool. I can't wait for you to kind of in my mind, I envision that you're going to have a cool little project on your terrace. you're literally going to make like those raised bed boxes.
Probably.
And then, dude, have like a little cool garden going.
Yeah.
Because I think, honestly, that'd just be really, really cool, man.
That would be cool. Well, it was great because like the other night I made pesto from scratch with the basil
Oh.
on my porch.
That is really cool. Pesto is like what? Olive oil?
So pesto is
basil
technically,
leaves,
it's usually,
pine
so
nuts.
the traditional pesto is, pine nuts, basil, and olive oil, and then a little bit of, and then the Parmesan cheese.
Dude, that sounds
But
delicious.
here's the thing about pesto. You can literally sub out the basil for anything green you can use. That one I did. So I did. And then like the nuts, you can sub out walnuts.
You know, there's some
sunflower
pothead
seeds.
right now that's like, oh, I can sub out anything so long as it's green, huh? Yeah. It's just
Well,
mashed up.
it doesn't even have to be green. I mean, it wouldn't, I mean, pesto's usually green. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I threw in, so I did sunflower seeds, cashews, olive oil, parm, and I did half basil and half like kale.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
But it was
awesome,
cool to make it
bro.
from scratch from something that,
Dude, isn't that so cool? And you grew your basil leaves by yourself.
well, my mom grew the basil and then she gave me one of her plants. So I
Well, that's
can't
awesome,
take credit for that one. But she did. She started it from seeds.
But you did something, you chefed it up by yourself.
She gave
and
it to
that's what
me,
it is.
and then I put it on the balcony, and then it fell off the balcony and landed in the hedge below. So he was a little sad, so I had to save him.
Damn. Well, you saved him.
Saved him.
I hope.
Yeah,
I hope
well, I
that's
hope
where the
so.
story's
He's still looking a little sad, but maybe he'll get better.
Dude, that's so cool that you picked up a new kind of skill, or at
Yeah.
least you picked up something because you've lived here for a long time. I assume that this is the first time you've ever started your own garden.
I've tried planting things here and there, and they always die.
You know what's so sad is that my parents used to own this house right by San Marcos School,
Mm-hmm.
high school, but way back in the day, and it had its own little greenhouse. Like the person who lived there before, it like made their own little greenhouse out of it. And then I thought it was the coolest thing because ideally it was kind of cool. I mean, you couldn't it was attached to the side of the house. You know, it's like if you wanted to go out there in the middle of the night and just check on your plants or check on whatever, you totally could. But I never appreciated it. I never used it for what it was, for what it could be. And we never grew anything, and we never even got like the light system down. Oh, it was terrible. I feel like that could have been like now in my days, or now in like, we'd had to wait like 20 more years, but you know, that greenhouse is probably getting a lot of work during this COVID time.
Yeah.
People are probably growing on full-size vegetables and everything. Oh,
Yeah,
it was so cool in there. It was honestly so cool. Oh, we had these two little turtles, and then, you know, the greenhouse isn't closed. It's on a door. So I remember these turtles would just walk around and
That's
on the
kinda
bottom.
cool.
Yeah, dude, it was totally cool for them. Oh, it was so cool. Anyways, golly, dude, it's so good to see you. Honestly, we're
You
at
too,
episode
yeah.
100. This has been 2 years in the making plus.
Yeah.
I still remember the time that you had thought about, you know, kind of like passing this crazy, zany, wacky nut job of an idea about doing a podcast. And
I know,
100
right?
plus episodes later, we're here actually
Here
kind
we
of
are.
like doing it. So obviously we're without our friend and our third compatriot here, Jables McBables.
Yep.
He's taking care of his fam back in Tennessee.
Yep.
And obviously family always first, but we wanted to make sure that we gave this 100th episode a real good go for our listeners that have stayed true with us all throughout. So thank you.
Yes, we thank you.
Oh my gosh.
From the bottom of our hearts.
From the way bottom.
The way bottom.
Now for you, that's deep. Okay, because you got a
Cockles.
big heart.
Probably.
For me, man, I feel like the Grinch sometimes. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, but see, this podcast makes your heart grow, Steve.
It really, really does. It really, really does. Man, I'm telling you. You know what the craziest part is that I've learned a lot about myself during this whole COVID times, right? You learn a lot about who you stay kind of in contact with and who you're staying in touch with.
Yep.
A lot of just everything's a changing, I feel like, in the world right now. And that's so, I feel like it's good because I feel like we're alive during this time.
Yeah.
You know, this isn't some time back in the 60s where you read about it in a history book in 10th grade and you're like, I wonder what it was like back then.
I know, right?
You're actually in the crosshairs of what it is right now, right here, right now. I think it's the coolest thing in the world, man.
It's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
It's been, I mean, I've learned stuff.
Yeah. What's the one biggest, like, if you envision this 80 years from now, you'll probably be 85, of course, still young and trim and fit. And your grandkids are asking you a question. Hey, Grandpappy Tim, what was it like all the way back in 2020? What were you going to tell them? What's like the one thing that you're going to remember? Obviously, you haven't gone senile just yet.
It's just,
What's the one
I'm
thing?
just knocking on the door.
Yeah, you're sitting in your you're sitting in your Leatherman chair, right? You're just handing them Werther's Originals, and then they're just crowded around you, and you're going to tell them what story?
I don't know, man. That's a good question.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I feel like there's so many levels and so many layers. Like
Dude.
how fast it all happened and how so many people like lost their freaking minds about it.
Yeah.
People wearing masks by themselves in their car That one.
That's
cracks
kind of
me up.
unique. I think that people just get so comfortable with it. That's what my thought is. I think people might just get so
guess.
comfortable. Yeah, you know I'm a proponent of wearing a mask, but maybe you don't need to do it in your car by yourself while you're just jamming out, you know what I mean, to whatever song you're listening to. I totally get that. I think in the safety of your own car, that's why I can't wait to get back to my car. At work, we have to wear our masks all the way throughout the garage and everything like that. So I can't wait to get back to the car so I can just strip it off and be like, oh God, I can breathe. You know, like I can breathe with the air conditioned air. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's just like that's the biggest.
Well, that's the thing for people who are wearing them all the time. I feel like you are definitely limiting your oxygen intake.
I don't know about that because you've seen those masks that, like at the gymnasium where people like have those like crazy filtered masks or something like that, where they actually are trying to attempt to limit their oxygen intake because it's supposed to simulate whatever it is on Mount Everest or whatever,
altitude or something.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think that people are just uncomfortable with it because I don't think it's a normal thing. Like we've never, in a community as a society in America, we've never worn masks.
No. Well, now
you know what I mean,
I wonder if
And
I
then
wonder if that's going to stay a thing or if that's going to go away.
I think for immunocompromised people or elderly people, it'll still stay a thing no matter what, right? You know? But I think the young people, obviously, don't even, you know, they're not wearing them now.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people wear them in California. I was in Arizona and
I don't think anyone was
nobody was wearing masks. Nobody was social distancing. It was like the Wild West.
I laugh because I just think I'm not laughing at all the lives that are obviously affected by this. What I'm laughing at is just how different, because we're one state over, how different the mentality is. You know what I mean? Because I think if everyone turns on the news or reads a newspaper or is somewhere on some form of some internet, you obviously assume that like people can get the message that like masks are kind of a big thing, masks are being worn. You know, New York is different than Arizona, but California, Southern California, especially maybe even San Diego, there's a lot of zonies out here. And I think there's a lot of people from California that go to live in Arizona because that's the only place they can afford a house.
Is zonia a pejorative?
I don't know. I heard one of my buddies, Troy, at work use it.
I love that term. I think it's hilarious.
All the zonies, bro, they're all taking over my sewer spots. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, Troy. And he's like, oh. So.
I referred to a bunch of people from Arizona and Palm Springs once as desert people.
And did they take well to it?
The conversation stopped very quickly. They were all just staring at me like I had said something terrible.
You said the worst thing you could.
I was like, I didn't mean it in a bad. I meant
dessert people. I meant dessert people. You know,
desert people. Like the freaking
eclairs,
like the little what are those little things from Star Wars?
Yeah, those like
red eyes.
No. Yeah, I think those are desert people.
Yeah.
They
have a name, but I can't remember what they are.
Good Lord.
Someone's losing their shit right now because I can't remember the name of the Star Wars race or whatever.
I just think it's so funny what the biggest debate is because I'm like, oh my gosh, just wear a mask, I guess, if you're out. But, you know, if you want to be in your car, you want to be staying home, you want to be at a friend's house, I guess. I don't know. But once again, I can't control what other people do. And that's never the point of Project Reclamation. That's not the point
No. I mean, you know, do what you want when you're by yourself.
Yeah.
But out of respect for other people, you know,
yeah, dude.
Put it on. I don't know. I mean, if you're just walking outside or you're walking your dog, like I don't wear the mask. I just, I try to give people their space.
No, for sure.
But if I'm going to go into a store or whatever, whether it's required or not, I put one on just to be neighborly.
No, for sure. You know that I'm an avid runner, and I go out running every day. And one of my biggest deals is that if I see somebody kind of walking down, I have a little route. When I see somebody kind of walking in the other direction or walking on the same sidewalk, I actually will just run in the street. Like they know I'll run in the bike lane in the street, so I give them that 6 feet. And some people are really, really nice about it. I think the biggest thing is people know that I'm trying to be respectful, you know, because they know that I'm the one without the mask, huffing and puffing. And then maybe they don't have a mask on either, but like obviously I don't think. Anyways, I don't know about age or whatnot, but then they'll like kind of wave to me and I'll kind of wave to them. Then there's some a-holes that like just they like walk faster. Like I've seen people like just scurry like right by me as quickly as they can. And I'm like, I'm running on the opposite side of basically the street as you, so you don't need to run by. In fact, I probably won't
it's weird
get
how
you.
Some people, but you know, people are scared.
People are scared, man. It's scary times, bro.
They do weird things. Well, that's better than running by people and like bumping into them and spitting in their face. And
just sweating on them, just giving them a hug.
Wipe your sweat on them, just cough in their face.
Man, I'm telling you, dude. I think if I were to 85 and I think if my grandkids were to ask me, hey, Peppy Chang, what was like your craziest memory of like what was happening now and then? Honestly, I think it made me realize like how much I was so wrapped up. Like, and people can get wrapped up in just going to work.
Yeah.
You know, setting aside money for this vacation that's going to happen in like 8 months from now, 10 months from now, and doing all this stuff. I mean, I was even on the phone with my friend Katie from New York earlier today, and we had talked so much about, oh, well, don't worry. We're going to go to the Statue of Liberty. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing that. I'm going to go out. I've always wanted to go to, amazingly enough, I've always wanted to go see a basketball game in Charlotte, North Carolina. And like, I haven't for years. I haven't for decades. But I was like, I'll just do it when I save enough money. And you get so wrapped up. And I was just like, I think if I were to sell anything to my kids 85 years from now, I think, or grandkids 85 years from now, I'd be like, yo, sometimes things kind of come in the way and you didn't even expect it. And now that it's here, you're going to regret the fact that you didn't live life like in the moment when you were trying to live it.
I agree.
You know, I mean, if I don't know when the next time I'm ever going to go back to New York is, but one of my goals has been to go into the Statue of Liberty, go inside the Statue of Liberty, go all the way to the.
Have you ever been?
No, but no, I've been to New York, but I've never been to the Statue of Liberty.
I know, been even in New York.
Yeah,
I think I went to the Statue of Liberty.
Just go inside the crown like the Ghostbusters did when they were battling the Stay Puft.
Yeah, dude. And then I think you used to be able to go up to the torch, but you can't.
I don't think you can go to the torch anymore, but like I definitely think you can still go on the crown, and like
so
that was
many
something.
Fucking stairs.
No, we've had opportunity on opportunity on opportunity, but like Katie has always been like, oh, I'm busy. I've always been like, I'm busy, right? You always just kind of push off things. Well, stop pushing it off now, right?
Well, and even simple things like I think just don't take things for granted. Like
can't.
I mean, because like. I like to have the option to go to the beach, but I can't tell you the last time I actually went to the beach, went in the water.
Yeah.
But now it's like, then
You've
when
been
it
so
got taken
jazzed,
away
dude.
from me, I was like, damn, I definitely took that for granted. And like, you know, I used to like hiking and stuff, and I've been on a few hikes lately. Brett and I, you know, we did a few before this, you know, but then they closed all the trailheads. Like, it's so weird. Like all these things.
Cowell's
So it's
Mountain
like,
closed.
You got to enjoy the things that you have the ability to enjoy, because you never know when that shit's going to get taken away from you.
Stop pushing stuff off, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the time to do it is right now. You know what I mean?
The time is now.
The time is now, man.
So yeah, dude.
You know what's kind of crazy though, man? And I'll be honest with you, a lot of this stuff is that you see a lot of stuff right now starting to open back up, and everything's trying to recover. You know what I mean? Everything's trying to come back to life here a little bit, and you do see that it's kind of a little bit of a struggle. You know, it's going to be a little bit of a struggle.
Yep.
But I still have faith, man, that like things are going to kind of pop back. Not maybe as once they used to right away.
It's going to be different.
That's going to be definitely different.
But yeah, I think that it is interesting kind of seeing the recovery. And it's like, I mean, it's just like any sort of trauma. I mean, this is strangely like trauma to society.
Yeah.
But you know, there's trauma to like businesses and stuff. So I think the best way to do it is, you know, we got to help each other out.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is going to be like what we're going to chat about today is recovery, baby. Recovery.
Slid that one right in there. You know?
Recovery. Just slid right in there. Just like no one slides into my DMs. No one at all slides into my DMs.
I don't even. What's a DM?
It's a direct message. Direct message, I think. I think.
That was like district manager.
District manager, too. Michael Scott. Michael Scott's a DM.
Yeah,
DM
dirty
is,
metal.
Is Carpe Diem. It's dance movements. Yeah.
Got it.
Carpe Diem. No, one of the biggest things in the world is
seize the carp,
right? Delicious carp. One of the biggest things in the world, I'll be honest with you, is that the only time that I had ever kind of faced recovery on some like more recent kind of scale, that the nation had to face recovery was in Louisiana during Hurricane Katrina back in 2000. I think it's 2004. That was when the tsunami was, and I don't think Hurricane Katrina was shortly thereafter. I think it was shortly thereafter.
Wasn't Sandy pretty bad too?
Sandy was pretty bad too, but that was just like the first thing that I can remember about recovery efforts, all this other recovery stuff was Hurricane Katrina. And we're not talking about, although we can dip into like, you know, individual recovery, like if you're substance abuse recovery and everything else like that too. But what we're really, really talking about here is just how are you going to recover from stuff? How do people recover from stuff? How have we seen recovery happen? And then how are we going to apply it to what we're kind of going through right now? Like even how can we apply it to people that might be in need of like a moment of just kind of like, hey, how do I build myself up?
Yeah.
Where's the first block that I got to put in place? You know what I mean?
I think another one before that, I think it was 9/11.
Oh, 9/11 for sure. Actually, I didn't even think about that. I don't know why I didn't even think about that. Gosh.
But it's interesting because all those things were...
Well, I say this much. I say 9/11, I think about terrorism. When I think about Hurricane Katrina, I think about recovery. But both in and of itself are both great insults to people. Like, well,
one was... one was man-made and one was nature.
Yeah.
Although, you could make the argument that COVID could go either way on that one.
Maybe. I mean, honestly, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that man has definitely put in place, right? You know, whether that be the destruction of forests or like obviously these wet markets that are kind of existing, you know, like maybe bats that never kind of, had any interaction with city folk. All of a sudden started having interaction with fucking city folk.
Right. Well, no, I was referring to, and I don't want to talk about this, but the whole thing about, you know, how there's some evidence that it may have been created in a lab, and that's the debate.
I've heard about this
That's
stuff.
the debate. We're not going to go into it.
All right.
I'm just saying you could kind of, but that makes me think though, you know, I think some of the issues were not so much the disease, but the response.
Yes.
And that was, you know, man-made, and some of that has been helpful, and I think some of it's definitely not been helpful.
No, for sure. I think that one of the biggest things in recovery is that there's always initial stages. Sometimes you see a lot of blame. Everyone's like, well, how did this happen? Why? Who's the one to blame for all this stuff?
And I understand the inclination to want to know that.
Sure.
But it's not helpful.
No, it's definitely not helpful. But the biggest thing, though, too, is that like sometimes there just isn't one source to blame. Like there was never one person that pulled the trigger, hit the button, accidentally bumped the switch with their backside while they were listening to some, you know, tunes on their Walkman, and all of a sudden, you know, the world ended up collapsing. It's never like that, I feel like.
No.
It's always the systematic errors that happen to lead to, like, you know, these big meshes or holes in the net that, you know, like things slide through sometimes. And this is kind of one of those big examples. Perhaps. I'm not so sure.
But yeah, how do we recover?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, and I'm so glad you brought up 9/11. Sorry, and I say that with all respects too. I'm not glad that you brought up 9/11. I'm so glad you used that as a reference point, and also Hurricane Katrina, is that there starts with a little bit of a reformation of order, right? You know, different times call for different measures, right? It's not like you can go, oh, well, this is our standard workplace structure. We've always had this in place, and then we're going to fit this to a thing that we've never even seen before, been through before, or had to deal with before. It doesn't work like that, right?
Right.
I remember there was a general named General Honoré who was a Louisiana native, and he kind of came down there with the National Guard and, you know, knew his city of New Orleans, I imagine, or figure, and he was directing people where to go and what to do and who to help out. And, you know, sometimes it took one kind of boss leader to maybe, and I don't think he went rogue, but I think he stepped up and he stepped into a role that maybe he never had any formal kind of structure in and of itself, training. I mean, I don't think anyone has any formal structure or something like that.
No.
You know, and then you can tell about the countless maybe firefighters or countless civil servicemen in New York that kind of just went above and beyond what they needed or had to do in a situation.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not so sure. So I don't know what's happening here, though, in this situation. I mean, other than individuals, like you do see, like, whether or not you like them or not politically, you do see that, what's his name, Governor Cuomo in New York is like kind of holding all these daily pressures, like almost like fireside chats.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure. But other than that, you see so many different people step in so many different ways. But, you know, in your daily life, if something kind of happens, it's like, how do you recover? You almost have to kind of like, you know, something bad, God forbid, a loved one passes away, or God forbid you, remember when you, like, you know, I think you and I have both been through kind of job losses before.
Yeah.
How do you fucking recover from that, you know?
Well, I think you got to take a step back.
Yeah.
You got to take stock. And then you got to regroup and come up with a plan.
That's it.
But I mean, this is different. This is, you know, because this isn't so much, it's not an individual thing. Then I think it also requires a lot of working together.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what's happening now. I feel like you see that a little bit or a lot of it right now with like local communities, especially our own community of San Diego. But
yeah,
I will say this, the greatest insult that ever happened to me was that I lost my job due to my own efforts, like back in 2008. And then the economy, like the world kind of fell apart. Right. And it was almost like I had said, oh, well, I'll just kind of go fill out some applications again, and then go on monster.com and fill out the job applications online, still do it that way. But in that kind of crazy time, doing the standard way of kind of about going about a job, like how you used to get it, didn't work anymore because everyone was fighting for those jobs. So almost like as a way of recovery, you almost have to kind of look at it in such a different way. Like it's almost like people say, oh, if you want kind of results in your body, you have to change the way you work out, you know, change your routine up a little bit. It was almost like you had to change the routine up a little bit.
That makes sense.
And that's what I had to do. Unfortunately, it came to like really, really kind of like rock bottom stuff where you have to like almost like I moved back in with my parents. I mean, like I went back to school to try and reinvent myself, you know, and like what
look at you now.
Look at myself now, middle class. Boom, I made it.
The American dream.
American dream.
Yeah, man.
Tax me. Here we go.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Take my money.
Take my money.
Take it all.
Middle
Take
class, babies. Drive a Toyota. Look at me now. I'm shining like
this
a
one's
star.
weird though, because I think this is the first time, like all the other examples we can think of, it's been at least in modern history, it's all been either a national issue or like even a regional issue.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure there's other, I mean, like the bubonic plague or something, but in modern history, there hasn't been a time when like the whole world like took a dump on itself, like
no,
at the
it's so
same
true.
time. And I mean, it's interesting, like even like looking at like, just like money and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, because everybody's so fucked that it's just, I don't know, the whole thing's just weird, man.
Well, let me ask you a question. What was you think about this? Because I know I'm kind of asking this right off the bat.
Yeah.
This is how much time and prep we put into the sweet
Right.
podcast for our 100th episode. No, but let me ask you something. You've obviously faced a big insult in your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A big crash, boom, bang, schmamazzle, I don't know, right? That really,
Yeah.
really kind of asked you to recover globally, whether that been maybe your bank account was drained out, maybe your spirituality and your faith in your skill set maybe was just kind of tested, and maybe emotionally you were just drained as F. I don't know. But I want you to think about this. What was it, and how'd you get back on top? Because like right now, I see you right now, you are back on top. You know, everyone could always be doing better. I could have $1 more. I get it. But dude, you have food on your table.
Yeah.
You have the lights can turn on, right?
Yep.
You know, and then you have a car full of gas, or at least, at least it runs. You know what I mean? Whether or not it's full of gas, but you know, but you have, you know, you're not starving. You're not in a box. You know, like living on the streets, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same, well, there's something wrong with that. I apologize.
Yeah.
But you're not in that situation, thankfully.
No. And I think, I think it's kind of like with anything, like there's a trauma element to it. So it's kind of like loss. So I think you have to grieve that. However, I mean, I think, you know, when I've definitely dealt with stuff healthily and unhealthily, like, you know, alcoholism is probably a bad idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, you got to get through that one part. Cause if you just bottle it up and repress it, you have to get over it.
Yeah.
You have to work through it. And then, then it's come up, take a step back. What are your options? Come up with a plan, come up with a goal, and then come up with a plan.
Come with a goal, come with a plan.
Yeah.
So
then you got to hold yourself accountable, I guess.
How did you hold yourself accountable through these like challenging times? Because I will tell you this much: when I was kind of in the thick of it, you know, sometimes it started to see the forest from the trees, right? So sometimes when I remembered myself being kind of like in it, I was back at my parents' house. I was just kind of like wasting away there, and I was like, "What the fuck am I doing? I don't even know." I remembered I was financially downtrodden, and I was like, "Okay, I got to get a job." But I still was applying in the same old-fashioned ways, and I was like, "Holy crap!" And I would even show up and cold call people like right there at the business, and I was like thinking I was doing something different. But it ended up being that you just had to like completely get outside of the box, and I just don't even know. If I look back on it, I don't even know how I did it, but I remember just doing everything I could. And then once you got one thing, once I got a job at a bank. No, I got a job at a movie theater. I got a job at the movie theater at night. So, I mean, like, you know, I would go in there at 8 o'clock and then close it up at whatever, 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. that I was there. And then I remembered working at a gym as well. I ended up getting that job. I ended up getting another job at a local gym where I would open it up at 4 a.m. But you had to do anything you could to just like kind of get yourself back in the moment. And I remember being so down on myself because I was like, I have a college degree. What the heck am I doing?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was like, well, you got to do something. You got to start plugging away. You got to start rebuilding your empire. And sometimes it takes, you know, so you got to say goodbye to the Ferrari. You got to say goodbye to like these luxuries. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then you got to start. I mean, you got to start small.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, as far as accountability, I mean, just like any other goal, like you have a goal, we break it. I mean, I think we've even had episodes about this.
We had episodes about goals. Go ahead and listen to the 99 prior episodes, y'all.
So it's something about basically, I mean, you got to break it down into like bite-sized pieces.
Yeah.
And then you got to hold yourself accountable. You got to put a time frame on it.
Yeah.
Like when it's like, I mean, I know when I was trying to apply for jobs, I think it was like, I tried to apply for like, I don't know, 3 jobs a day or something, or whatever it was, or get back to, you know, somehow communicate with, but I mean, yeah. So that mean this one's weird. I don't know, man.
No, I swear to gosh, I think how I kind of expand this out a little more globally is this. It's like, hey, a lot of people are probably listening to this and they go, oh, we're talking about old situations, individual situations, right? I think one of the biggest things is that know what your North Star is, right? You know, like what does success mean to you, or just kind of like what is success? Is it everything different than what you're experiencing right now? Sure, it could be. But I mean, eventually you just have to kind of keep the faith that you're on the right path and you are marching towards it.
Yeah.
And so even in these COVID times, or even in these times of civil unrest, it's like, do you know what your North Star is and all of this stuff? Do you know who you are? And then can you kind of just still make strides like every day towards that? I don't know. That's not up for me to decide. That's up for you to kind of like figure out. But obviously, if you just kind of keep plugging and chugging away, some days are going to be better than others, right?
Yeah.
But as long as you keep moving.
Well, yeah, as an individual, yeah, I think you just have to always try to be moving the needle, whatever that needle is. I mean, and then, I as a society, like how do we heal as a society? I think we have to just probably work together better than we do. And you've seen a lot of examples of this, but
for sure.
you know, I think that, and as an individual too, if you're trying to recover from something, I think that the same thing applies. Like, you know, use people in your life. Not use them in a bad way.
Use them up. That's right, Tim.
yeah,
Tim Frick said it most. Just use people up.
You have friends, you have family, you have people that are there, you know, who are willing to talk to you. And so just talking to someone, working through stuff with somebody is always better than, especially now, because there's probably a lot of isolation going on, you know.
There is, right? I couldn't have gotten back on track if it wasn't for the help of obviously my friends like you, but obviously my family or support system. A lot of people don't have certain groups of friends or family. So it's like, what do you do, right?
Yeah, it's a good question.
And the biggest thing I think that you can do is just start reaching out. You know, you don't have many friends right now. It doesn't mean you can't make them and meet them, especially during these times.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, latch on to some people and hold on tight. Yeah, because I think out of all of this will come growth.
I agree. Yeah,
and that's a large part about everything.
Well, and I think you'll hopefully, you know, a lot of the bullshit will be stripped away.
Yeah.
And then you're left with, you know, something that's kind of stronger, and then you can build from that.
Hopefully.
Something better. Hopefully.
Dang, man.
Wait, no, we're supposed to be optimistic here, Steve.
No, of course.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like it's different than what you imagined it, though. That's like one of the biggest things, right? You imagine it to look one way or be one way, and sometimes it's just not. But that doesn't mean, you know, it's like the famous rock quote, right? Sometimes the best things in life to happen to you are the things that didn't happen for you. You have this vision, like, right? And we always kind of talk about this. Oh, when we were in high school, when I was 15, this is what it's going to look like when I'm 25.
Oh, yeah.
Then you hit 25, and then you're like, wow,
like,
this isn't anything close to whatever. I know. And it's like you want to tell God a joke. It's like, tell them your plan on your life. You know what I mean? This is exactly what's going to happen to me, and this is how I'm going to go about it. Good one.
Yeah.
Good one, Steven.
You know, what you don't know is...
Gave me a laugh today, you did.
Curveball.
I know.
COVID.
I know. Or curveball, like, you don't have a job anymore. Curveball, like, you know, you get ill with something else.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So, I don't know.
Well, I think that's another thing, too, is, you know, throughout all this, as people recover, you know, maybe you don't have you know, if you have a job and everything, like, some things suck, some things got taken away, but, you know, definitely take stock and be thankful for what you do have. And
be thankful,
it could
man.
be worse, you know, be grateful.
Isn't that the biggest thing about recovery, man? Is that you are thankful. Like in any kind of recovery program, right? There's always like a moment of gratitude, right? You know, and then there's always a moment of like, you know, being happy, and then also not holding on to that pent up anger or frustration or those feelings of failure, right?
Yeah.
So obviously, I think that's a big lesson about today, and I think that's maybe like the biggest lesson of it all.
For sure, man.
Man, we killed this episode. Another one, man. Another one in the books. 100. How did we do it? But it all started off with you in a medical bed. Almost a medical induced.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Induced whatever. And I came up there. Go ahead and look at the pictures on projectxreclamation.com.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead and look at the photos. Beautiful photos. Wonderful photos. The most beautiful photos.
Beautiful photos of the best of friends.
The best of friends. The bestest friends of all time. And it all started off with that kind of vision. And, dude, look at this. 2 years later. Bam!
We started off as an idea.
And look at this.
And then it became a reality.
And you guys might be thinking, boy, they are trying to recover a lot of lost time because they should be up to episode 170 something right now.
We have really sucked this year. I apologize. But we're trying to get back into it.
We're trying to recover.
We're trying to recover ourselves. And I think, a lot of it too was, I mean, I know that, you know, just being candid, you know, I think we ran out of steam a little bit in forcing topics. And so maybe you've noticed, maybe you haven't. I mean, we the last two times Steve and I recorded, we came up with topics, but it was topics that just kind of organically came to us. We're not trying to force topics anymore. So, I mean, if you have a topic you want us to cover, let me know. We'll try to cover it. But
Joe Rogan, how do you keep it so fresh every day?
Guests, dude. Guests are the thing, man, because he doesn't have to do anything.
I know TJ wants to be a guest. TJ, we want you on if you've made it this far.
Bring her on.
Bring it on. Awesome.
And then didn't you have another? Wasn't there another
CG?
Nurse? Yeah.
Crystal.
Yeah.
Dang.
So yeah, we'd love to have guests. Love to. Yeah, and I got a couple of my coworkers want to jump on. So yeah, good stuff, man. Well. Kind of a short episode, but that's all right.
Hey, man,
we got quality content.
Quality content.
All right. Well, happy 100, Steven.
We made it.
It's so good to see you face to face, not on a Zoom. It's fantastic.
What's a Zoom?
Exactly.
That's 100-year-old Steven.
Hey, you made it, dude. You're 100 years old. All right. Well, you guys all go have a good recovery.
Yep.
Be happy.
Be safe.
Go air hug somebody.
Wear a mask when you're
Wear
outside.
a mask. Do your thing. Wash your
thing.
hands. Don't touch your face. Hug your dog.
Amen.
All right. That's all we got. Thank you so much for listening. Y'all have a good one. Bye.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.